Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
I shall not seek, and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
Thank you.
That's some foreshadowing into our This Day in History.
Really?
Yep.
Is it foreshadowing into the question of the day? Or can I say who that was?
You mean our trivia question? Mm-hmm. Don't answer that.
Not the trivia question.
What?
The foreshadowing.
What?
Never mind. Move on.
It's This Day in History. This Day in History. It foreshadows that.
Not the question.
Not the trivia question.
So I would say that he's one of the few presidents that is known by his initials.
There's there's
how many?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4.
I can think of 2.
Well, there's JFK.
3. I can think of 3.
FDR.
Uh-huh. LBJ. GMW.
Yep. George Walker Bush, GW.
No.
Oh, just W.
I was thinking George Washington.
Oh, yeah, GW. Good old GW.
What was his middle name? I don't know.
It was
I assume it started with an M.
It was Martha.
Martha. That's why I said M, because
it's George Martha Washington.
See,
makes sense. Perfect sense.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Today's October 22nd. The month's flying by. It's October. I don't know where you people are, but it's beautiful out where we're at. Wherever that may be. Uh-huh. We are in the Freedom Studios. We're on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers, and we're in Liberty City. What country now?
Australia.
Australia, of course. Good, eh? That's some more foreshadowing. We're going to talk about Australia, we are. No, that was more of a cockney, I think.
Well,
it wasn't even that. It's horrible.
It was just horrible is all.
All right, so, we're going to talk about Australia a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to, really. I'd rather talk about New Zealand.
We might talk. Yeah, I love New Zealand.
New Zealand,
beautiful.
New Zealand is the place to be.
The skiing there is fantastic.
Yeah,
they hunt red deer that are beautiful, big elk-like animals. Just
unregistered semi-automatic firearms.
Beautiful. Might talk a little bit about Hillary.
Well, I think we have to.
Student body elections. We might talk about.
We will talk about that one because it's funny because that was complete discrimination against minorities in that case. So we definitely will get to that.
We'll discuss that. And I got this from Ammo Land.
Ooh.
And it's people are always saying, why can't we regulate firearms like we do cars? And
it's a good question.
We'll see what some of the advantages and disadvantages of that might be. But let's go back to Australia down under.
Oh, really? Already?
Well, we might as well get it over with.
I wasn't really itching to get to it.
All right. Well, we can talk about whatever you want.
It's fine. I think
let's say hi to Steve. Steve's our engineer.
Hi, Steve.
He's not mic'd up. You're welcome. And Steve's wearing his Michigan State University Spartan sweatshirt,
because he lost the bet.
No, he's a Spartan fan.
Okay.
I'm a Spartan fan. You're a Spartan fan. We know we have a lot of listeners that are Michigan fans. Sorry about that. People don't know what we're talking about. Regionally, a big rivalry, Michigan State University versus the University of Michigan football. Michigan State has been successful the last, 7 meetings or so, which is unusual. Usually U of M dominates. But this year it was going to be different. They have Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, the new coach of the University of Michigan.
From the San Francisco 49ers.
From the 49ers. He's a U of M grad and played football for U of M. It's where he wants to be. And this is the year they said, we are going to beat Michigan State.
Get that Paul Bunyan statue back.
You are our little brothers, they like to say, and we're your big brothers, and we take care of you.
Yeah.
And actually, MSU was the underdog by 7 points.
They were, and the game ended exactly like you'd expect.
Yeah, except for one thing.
Yeah,
With 10 seconds left, as people know, Michigan was ahead by couple points, like 21-23.
Yeah, 2 points, yeah.
10 seconds left. Michigan's on their own, 30-yard line, 35-yard line. And they're going to punt with 10 seconds left. You think the game's over. Foregone conclusion. They're going to win. The punter bobbles the ball. It wasn't a great snap.
Yeah. Well.
He picks it up, and he goes to try to kick it, and he bobbled it again, and Michigan State defender picked it up and ran it into the end zone to win the game with 0 seconds left.
Broke his hip and dislocated his hip, by the way, which is like
But he didn't do
bummer.
He didn't do it because he was tackled by the University of Michigan.
No, he did.
They did a dog pile on him
because his team jumped on him.
And they actually broke his hip, and he's out for the
it's
season
horrible.
with surgery.
It's horrible.
And you can see him screaming out in pain when they zoomed in on the cameras, for the celebration. He's like punching guys, getting off.
Yeah, because they're still shaking him and jumping on him.
And he's in excruciating pain. So
it's horrible.
But,
absolutely horrible.
They won, so
yeah, they did. Yeah, MSU, Michigan State did.
I just wanted. So there you go, Steve.
Interesting.
Steve's giving the high five and all that stuff.
Old news, though.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm saying that's old news.
Lincoln's dead?
Or two. That is old news. 2 days away from another game, right? So, I mean.
Yeah, but nobody cares about that. I mean, we care about the University of Michigan and Michigan State being triumphant over Michigan.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing in the world, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, MSU had a horrible football program for 100 years.
Well, I wouldn't go that
Before
far.
the
They were
last
national
8 years, right?
champions in 65.
Yeah, that's 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly 100 years. Jeez. All right, so
it's Common Core math.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm rounding. Okay, what?
Common
Australia?
Core math, I like that.
So I think this is probably as well known as the MSU U of M game. But Brian, you and I actually, what was it? Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yesterday we were.
Tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow. Today.
Today, tomorrow.
Yesterday we were on TV.
Today, yes. Today here, but yesterday there, and the day before yesterday for them, we were on.
Yeah, a little show called Studio 10 in Australia. You mentioned it.
You
mentioned it last year. It has a view. Like the View
vibe
here. It's kind
it's
of
a
the
morning
same
show. It's like a Good Morning America.
It's a morning.
Today show.
It's a celebrity. They're all celebrities,
and they do
that talk
they
about
news
politics
and,
sometimes.
Yeah, not very well.
Usually they do ridiculous things like jump in a big vat of Coke with Mentos. They did that once, which was kind of cool, but whatever. Standard morning show gimmick stuff.
So the reason we were asked to be on the show is because of our book, My Parents Open Carry. Somehow they finally, the telegram must have got there. Australia is a long ways away.
Well, it seems like they would have known about it before we wrote it.
Yeah, because they're 15 hours ahead, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm confused. And we were confused trying to book the time to do the show.
Yeah, that was difficult.
Because we were doing the show at 5 o'clock p.m. yesterday, our time, and it was 8 p.m.
8 a.m.
tomorrow. 8 a.m.
tomorrow. Yeah.
So, anyways, they wanted to talk about our book. So they said, and we knew that was wrong, and they just wanted to talk about guns. And we did our homework and looked at some of their YouTube videos of the show. And oh boy, they really don't like guns.
No.
So we got 10 minutes, and they didn't really want to talk about our book.
No, they said, well, they wrote a book and then immediately jumped into.
Well, how come you guys have so many gun deaths over there when we only have -7?
Yeah.
We actually bring people back from life that were killed in 1897.
Since the Port Arthur tragedy, we've brought 17 people back to life from mass murders.
We actually have a net gain of non-killings with guns. What do you think about that, America? Isn't that fantastic?
That's actually not far
off. Far from their attitude.
Logic, really. Just completely ridiculous.
And they like to try to say something. So tell me, Nate, why is there so many gun problems in the United States?
Well, I really
now why is it that you kill so many people? How come that is? We don't kill anybody here. And so what I'm going to go ahead answer the question. So anyway, what I want to tell you is that you're absolutely wrong. Come on,
I'm just presenting you with the facts.
I know, but they're not facts. I'll tell you the facts. Australia is the best. Go ahead, answer the question.
New Zealand.
Now, so what I'm saying is, New Zealand, those Kiwis are bloody messes over there.
Yeah,
Don't compare us with New Zealand.
I think we've made the point.
Oh, well, it was just fun.
It was a lot like that.
Really, and as a matter of fact, they have a Facebook page, Studio 10. You can go on it, and they before the show was broadcast, they had a picture of our cover of our book, and they said, we're going to have these Americans on, and it's open to comments. And so a few of the comments, of course, you'd expect. Oh, stupid Americans! Oh,
I'm
shooting
so,
each other.
Like, literally, I'm so glad the government is protecting us from guns.
Right.
I mean, that's some of the comments, but
a lot of them, I mean, a majority of
I
them
think so.
were saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that our hosts, treated you guys so bad and wouldn't let you talk." And they said, "I can't believe Studio 10. If you're going to have people on your show, let them talk. This is supposed to be news. We would have liked to hear what they say, even though we may not agree with them."
Yeah, which makes sense.
Right. I like the one that I commented on, and she said, "Oh, I'm just so glad I live in Australia because when my child goes to school, I don't have to worry about anything. They'll never be shot in Australia." And I said, "Well, I'm glad you feel that way because that 15-year-old terrorist with an AR-15 or whatever he had that shot up a police station," I said, "had he decided to go to a school and shoot it up, it would have been a horrific tragedy. And so the next time, it might be a school, so I wouldn't be so smug."
Kidding. Yeah, the only thing that's guaranteed is that there's going to be nobody at the school that can protect your child. If that happens, that's the only thing that's guaranteed. The government is not protecting you from that sort of thing by having all sorts of gun control. The other sad part, which is expected, and I mean, it's not horrible, but they edited the video that most people here are seeing on YouTube and on their website, way edited. I mean, there was a lot more content.
About in half.
I think so. I think it was about half.
Jumps around.
They cut out my favorite part because I felt pretty good about what I said, but because of course he brings up, and this was Joe, whatever his last name is, I don't care, but the Constitution was written when there were muskets. Yeah, okay, right.
And so what I said, well, that's true. I said, but we also have a First Amendment, which is freedom of the press and freedom of speech. And if that's true, then maybe we shouldn't be doing this TV show because television didn't exist then, you know.
And that's when they shut us off.
Yeah.
Click, you're right. Click. Gone.
They cut off. No, that's not true.
No, it isn't.
But they didn't really have a good comeback for that.
No. Let's, this is my favorite because we have heard this one before, similar. Not necessarily cowboy, but they wanted
Wild
They wanted
West.
us to explain what is open carry, and then it goes on with another question about why would you do this for children?
Yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah.
And just to be clear, Brian, maybe you could explain. Open carry is when you're actually carrying your gun in a holster on the side of your belt, kind of like a cowboy.
Yeah,
is that right?
Kind of like a police officer. Yeah.
You've written it together, and it is a very unusual topic, though, for a children's book. I've got two little girls who are 6 and 8.
It is unusual, actually, and that's part of why we wrote it, is because there weren't any.
Right.
And we thought that there should be at least one. So
it
is unusual.
So the assumption is they haven't read the book, of course. They don't.
No, of course not.
They're assuming that we are, programming children to be killers, and that we're encouraging gun ownership and indoctrinating little children, and that's not, because we cover a variety of gun safety and all that stuff.
To talk to the point that you just made, My Parents Open Carry 2 is coming out shortly, so looking for
when were you
joking,
gonna, but when were you going to tell me
you're
that?
talking about programming children to be killers and everything. I'm just wait for the sequel.
Okay, and so Nate handles that very well, I think.
No, that's not true.
And I must say that for me, I wouldn't be comfortable with them reading a book like yours.
Yeah, well, to steal a saying from my friend here, nobody is too young to learn in the United States about the Second Amendment or around the world about guns. I think even if you don't own firearms, or especially if you don't own firearms in your home, it's extremely important to talk to your children about guns, teach them how to safely handle guns, what to do if they find a gun laying around. I'll make an assumption you have a fire extinguisher in your house, or in your studio there's probably a fire extinguisher. You're not expecting a fire. But if you have a fire, you want to be prepared so you can take reasonable action to save lives.
Yeah, but you can't really compare.
Yeah. So what they cut out in there in between the talking about teaching children and the fire extinguisher is their question, do you walk around and expect to be attacked everywhere you go?
Yeah.
No.
And I said,
no.
And I said to Joe, I said, well, if you can tell me when and where I'll be attacked or a victim of crime, I'll only wear my firearm at that time.
Sure.
But, of course, that's ridiculous. And so...
Yeah. And probably not true.
Yeah. What?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe it's true. I don't know.
Well, I don't
Whatever.
know.
It's not going to happen, so there's no reason to even think about it. But yeah.